everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of the Civil Canadian. I'm Scotty V. I got a question for all you guys. Do you want DC, the DC property, to separate from Warner Brothers and become DC Studios? I saw this question online a couple of weeks ago, right after the Zack Snyder's Justice League was released and how well received that film was. Even though the biggest complaint of the film was that the movie was 4 hours long. But for me personally, I loved it. I watched it twice full through. So a whole work day basically of watching Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, the reason why I'm asking should DC separate from Warner Brothers is because Warner Brothers did cancel 2 upcoming films that were in development for a while. So they did cancel the New God movies, or New Gods I think it is, and they canceled the Aquaman spin-off, the Trench movie. Now, New Gods would have been pretty cool to see with Darkseid and a whole bunch of other characters, sort of like DC's answer to the Eternals that Marvel is doing. But on the other hand, with the Trench movie, it doesn't really matter. I personally don't care for that. When I heard that they were doing a spin-off for that, I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? That's something that doesn't need to be made. DC was just throwing things out in the air, Warner Brothers. Now, like I've asked this question before, should DC separate and become their own studio, just like Marvel Studios? I think they should, because they've had a lot of hits and misses, or should I say a lot more misses, because a lot of people didn't like certain films. I think Batman v Superman and Dawn of our Justice League, the original, wasn't the greatest films, according to the fans. But, I liked Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition, because the Ultimate Edition did have some scenes that were cut out that should have been in the film, but that's a whole other discussion. Now, when I ask this question, should DC Studios separate? They should, because like this, they can have their own freedom. They can actually build a proper cinematic universe, because WB doesn't have no clue what's going on. They're just throwing movies here and there and everywhere. And it's pretty cool that they let Ezra Miller show up on Crisis on Infinite Earths a couple of years ago with Grant Gustin, but that's pretty much it. Now, when they separate, if they separate, I don't think they ever will, but they should start doing things the way Marvel doesn't. Now, DC doesn't have to make films that are light and jokey and stuff like Marvel. They don't have to do that. Marvel does has its dark films, but nothing to the extent of DC. DC, it works for those characters. Zack Snyder made it work. Now, first of all, I would rehire Zack Snyder. I'll bring it back. I would restore the Snyderverse, because I really liked that film. I liked what they did with The Flash and Cyborg, because in the original cut of the Justice League, I didn't give 2 shits about Cyborg. And this one I actually felt for him, and he was the main character of Justice League, and he was the more critical piece of that film. So what they should have done was continue on, give Zack Snyder the green light to do Justice League 2. But anyways, if they ever do separate, this is how they should do it. First of all, keep intact their Justice League, so keep Henry Cavill, keep Ben Affleck, and they should have done a Batman movie or a Man of Steel. They could have done Batman, because the Zack Snyder's Justice League did set up the Batman movie with Deathstroke, and if you haven't seen the movie, too bad, I'm going to spoil it, but Lex Luthor does give Deathstroke the identity of Batman, telling him it's Bruce Wayne. Go into Batman, and then have a little seed to Darkseid coming, just like how Marvel did it with Thanos. Like, at the end of the Avengers movie, you saw Thanos, and then you get a glimpse of him again in Age of Ultron. Do the exact same thing, and Batman, give him a little tease that he's coming. He probably sends in a couple of parademons to scout, to see what they're all about, see how they act, how they team up, where they hide out or hang out, and then go on to Man of Steel 2. There's people saying that it's really hard to come up with a story for the Man of Steel. I can understand that, because Superman is extremely overpowered. But you can bring Brainiac, or if you're not Brainiac, you can bring a proper Doomsday, because why? I still don't understand that atrocity of Doomsday in Batman v Superman. That wasn't the real one. That was just General Zod's body transformed into a monster. And then you could have gone to Wonder Woman 3. Then you could have gone to Aquaman 2. And then you could have brought Justice League 2. Well, because they're working on the Flash, so the Flash would be in there, and then do Justice League, and then Justice League 3. So it would be pretty cool to see um what they could have done if they were a separate studio. I would love them to be their own studio, just because they would have so much freedom. They can do. Everybody wants a Man of Steel too. Everyone loves Henry Cavill as Superman. I like him. He's my favorite Superman. Ben Affleck. I was one of those guys that didn't support that casting, but then when I saw him in Batman v Superman, I was extremely pleased with what he was because he resembles a lot of the Arkham games. But anyways, I'm gonna let the comments decide if Warner Brothers and DC should separate and DC should become its own superhero or excuse me, superhero. Oh my god, studio, so they can have a more success and build a proper cinematic universe. Maybe they do have a proper cinematic universe. I don't know. I don't know what you guys like. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys think they should separate and have their own proper cinematic universe like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Alright guys, if you guys like this video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.